So I think I figured it out. Socialism is the government of Karens. That's it. That's why we have such problems in the world today, is because we have so many people like Mrs. Kravitz off of Bewitched that are so concerned about everyone else in the world that they have to do something about it. They have to go to their husband Abner, which in real life is just the government, and say, look at what's happening. Look at what's happening. And then their dutiful husband, the government, they go and take care of it. And it's so obvious to see now. So yesterday, the EU government sent a strongly worded letter to Elon Musk saying, censor Donald Trump. Didn't specifically say that, but it was very obvious. And then today I saw, let me pull this up. I saw this from Jack Posobiec, who I really enjoy his views on a lot of news items. He said, J.D. Vance is the guy who mows your lawn when you break your leg. Tim Walz is the guy who reports your overgrown lawn to the HOA. And that is exactly what two different forms of government are focused on it in today's society. We have traditional constitutional republic that wants to help society, help people. And then the socialist communist government that so many people would like, that forces you to do what they want rather than helps you when you're down, kicks you when you're down. Instead of helping each other, they hurt each other. Selflessness versus selfishness. It makes so much sense now. There's a lot of people that think it's better to have strict rules so that people know exactly what they need to do. Stay between the lines. You just, the more narrow the lines are, the better. And if you step outside the lines, you get a fine, you go to jail, you get ostracized from society. But in a free society, and again, within those, or if you step outside of those lines, that's when we get a lot of black market type of situations happening, and gray markets, and people that stop caring about the law because the laws are so restrictive. But if we had a very free society where people would be able to, where the only crimes were crimes against specific other people, victim crimes versus victimless crimes, then there wouldn't really be a need for a black market or a gray market, because it would just be the market. We wouldn't have a government trying to regulate how many chickens you've got in your backyard, or how many eggs you've got in your fridge, or where you got your milk from. It would be worrying more about protecting you from the oncoming hordes that want to enter the country illegally, or want to bomb this country, which I don't think there's very many countries that actually want to bomb America, except those that are angered from our very bellicose foreign policy, which I get where they're coming from in that regard. If you kill part of my family, I would be wanting some justice for their deaths. So there have been a lot of U.S. bombing campaigns on weddings in the recent few decades. Thanks, Obama. Heck of a name there, Obama. But anyway, yeah, socialism is all about trying to control other people because the Karen wants to have control. The Karen wants to make sure everybody else is doing what she wants. And I mentioned my brother this idea, and he's like, I hate that people are like that are called Karens. And I went, yeah, that's true. It's too bad for the ladies that are actually named Karen. But I'm sure that they would prefer that over having been named Adolf right before World War II started. You know, it's degrees of names that are sad at this point. But anyway, those that want to control others, they lean towards a more socialist society because they are unwilling to have that charity that Christ spoke about in the New Testament. That selflessness where you lay down your life for a neighbor. Is if someone demands your coat, you give them your cloak as well. If they want you to walk 1 mile with them, you walk 2. That type of selflessness, that willingness to love everyone and put yourself in their position and say, okay, it looks like they're going through a tough time. How can I help them? Rather than, oh my goodness, why do they have a car on blocks in their front yard? I need to call code enforcement on them because that drops the property value of my house. That's incredibly selfish. And yeah, maybe they just don't have the standards that you do. But maybe if you became a real good friend with them and figured out why the car was up on blocks and maybe helped them fix the car, maybe it's up on blocks because they're running through a hard time and they need to get it fixed up so they can sell it, so they can pay off debts, so they can pull themselves out of a financial hole. And you calling code enforcement on them puts them further and deeper into that hole where they start looking for other ways to try and fix their problems. So they go to the bar and they start drinking, become an alcoholic, and then they become abusive to their spouse and children. And then they go to jail. Did that help them at all? Did that help society at all? Or should you have just been a friend and helped them with their car? Maybe loaned them a few bucks so they could get some new wheels on it. Or helped them with that transmission exchange or whatever the problem was that got that car in that position. Just take them an apple pie and say, you know, I'm glad to have you as a neighbor. What can I do to help you with this lawn? I've noticed that your weeds are a little bit tall. Would you like me to come help you weed your garden, help you mow your lawn? My son is looking for a service project. He can paint your fence. He can paint your house. That is what America used to be like. Maybe not everywhere, but in the small town America that I dream of, that's what America was like. A very Christian-like society where people actually cared about each other and they didn't just call the cops, call code enforcement, and try and solve the problem with force rather than with love. Anyway, that's what I have to say about that. If you have any any ideas on what you'd like me to cover, please let me know. I'm trying to do more small town related stuff. I think socialism, although it is a worldwide thing, it can be focused down to a very small town because every town has a person or two that are kind of like the local Karen. But anyways, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.